Hello students, this is Sumit Kumar, Assistant Professor BBA Department, Mawadi College, Ranchi. Right now we are going to deal with one of the topic of international marketing, which is concerned with risks in international trade. Basically, risks are divided into two categories: credit risk and non-credit risks. Risks in international trade are the major barriers for the growth to the same. International trade has been a much debated topic. Economists have differed on the real benefits of international trade. The increase in the export market is highly beneficial to an economy, but on the other hand, the increase in imports can be a threat to the economy of that country. It has been the worry of the policymakers to strike the right balance between free trade and restrictions. International trade can develop an economy, but at the same time, certain domestic players can be outperformed by financially stronger multinationals and forced to close down or get merged. Sometimes these multinational companies become so powerful, especially in smaller countries, that they can dictate political terms to the government for their benefit. International trade is characteristically costlier in terms of domestic trade. There are a number of reasons such as tariffs, cost of delay, costs related to differences in legal systems, etc. The factors of production like labor and capital are more mobile within the territories of the country than across other countries. International trade is restricted to the exchange of goods and services. It does not encourage the exchange of production factors, which may be more beneficial in certain cases. The assessment of risks in international trade plays an important role in deciding the modes of payment to be used for the settlement between the buyer and seller. Businesses involved in international trade have to deal not just with risks locally but all other business development risks such as ethics, transportation, intellectual property, credit, currency, and a lot more. These risks can obstruct the smooth running of the business, and hence appropriate measures needs to be taken to limit their effects. Here are six risks, including credit risk and non-credit risks, commonly faced by businesses involved in international trade and at the effective ways to manage them. First one, credit risk. Counterparty or credit risk is a risk associated with not collecting an account receivable. There are numerous ways in which businesses can guard themselves against this risk while expanding to global markets. The measures which can be taken to cope with this kind of risk is: take payment in full or a decent percentage of money upfront. Taking 100% of the amount owed or a fair percentage before rendering the services at the time of the placement of an order can be used to cut down administrative expenses and finance charges. This eliminates the risk of non-payment. Although this may be difficult for new businesses and exporters, it can be worked out with little negotiations. Letter of credit. This refers to a commitment issued by a financial institution wherein the institution agrees to pay a set amount to the service provider in exchange for delivery within a set time frame. This offers protection to both the seller and the buyer, includes a detailed description of the shipment as well as the terms of sale. There are several other techniques available for limiting credit risk. Second kind of risk, which is non-credit risk, is intellectual property risk. This risk involves third parties making unauthorized use of the strategic information of a business or property that affects the value of services or products offered by a business either directly or indirectly. These risks increase tenfold when doing business overseas because of the difficulties that exist in defeating business rights remotely. This can be avoided by registering the corporate names as well as the trademarks before signing an agreement in the country. Third kind of non-credit risk is foreign exchange risk. This usually concerns the accounts payable and receivable for contracts that are or soon would be in force. Foreign exchange rates are in flux constantly, hence businesses would be forced to make conversions of the funds generated overseas at rates lower than what is budgeted. This is the reason why it is crucial for business to have an appropriate exchange policy in place. This will help in stabilizing profit margins over sales made, mitigating the negative impact of fluctuating rates on sales and procurements, enhancing cash flow control, simplifying domestic and foreign pricing. Businesses need to identify foreign exchange risks to frame an effective policy. Next kind of risk is ethical risk. It is vital to maintain a high ethical standard when offering any product or service in a global market. Companies may face certain questions pertaining to their values at any point while doing international trade. Social conditions and customs vary from country to country, and hence it is necessary to be especially vigilant. Shipping risks. Whether you are shipping goods abroad or locally, you may face issues such as contamination, seizure, accident, vandalism, theft, loss, and breakage. Before shipping any goods to the buyers, you need to make sure to have sufficient insurance. The International Chamber of Commerce has laid down rules for each party involved in international trade and their responsibilities with regard to shipping risk. It is best to go through the rules and take necessary precautionary steps. Next kind of risk is country and political risk. These are risks such as non-tariff trade barriers, central bank exchange regulations, or ban on the sale of certain products in specific countries. For instance, several countries have banned products obtained from threatened animal species. Exchange control regulations. Several developing nations operate certain exchange control regulations that are associated with the flow of money from and there to country. They need to identify if these regulations are effective in the country. Prohibited goods. Countries need to make sure to carry out basic research on the import-export allowances offered by the country where they are interested to carry out their business. There are many products that are prohibited or restricted in some countries. For instance, what is acceptable in China may not be allowed in New Zealand. We need to make sure to check out all the rules pertaining to our target market in the country we are interested to carry out trade with. So these were the risks prevailing in the international marketing environment, which are both of credit and non-credit risk, and for a country or the companies belonging to a particular country has to take care of all these kinds of risks before they finally enter into the particular foreign territory. Thank you.